Hello everybody, Bogdan here and welcome back to the Import Export Hub channel. So guys, let's not lose precious time here and make this video unnecessarily lengthy, as I'm sure that you all know what to do with the buttons below this video. And by the way, I'm not speaking about the dislike button, but joke aside, as the title suggested, in this video I'm going to cover 5 products that from my personal point of view are worth considering importing from Poland. And without further ado, let's dive directly into the tables here. And my first product or chapter, whatever you want to call it, that I recommend to import from Poland is tableware and kitchenware. And as you can see here in the table, we have here the exports from Poland from 2016 onwards with an upward trend. And for 2020, the reference here for this video, if you want, the total exports accounted for more than $91 million, with Germany, the United States, and the Czech Republic being the top 3 destinations. But we have also Austria, the United Kingdom, South Korea, or Italy, just to cover the top 10 ones. And speaking of top 10 export destinations for Poland's tableware, these top 10 partners make up for roughly 79% cumulatively, so quite a high market export concentration if you ask me, with Germany alone accounting for more than 42% of Poland's total exports from this chapter. Now, in terms of year-on-year changes, overall the exports were up almost 8%, with big positive changes both in absolute and relative terms for Germany, Austria, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Italy. But unfortunately, there were some negative values in relation with the United States, the Czech Republic, Hungary, South Korea, and France. Again, just to limit my analysis, if you want, at these top 10 destinations. As for the major drivers, I've added here the drivers for 3 destinations, and for all of them, as you can see here, the major product exported is tableware, kitchenware, and other household articles. So basically, we are talking about HS code 691200. Now, moving on to my second product recommendation, which is subchapter 9507, so fishing rods, fish hooks, and other line fishing tackle. We see again a strong positive trend. In fact, from 2016 until 2020, Poland's exports from this chapter grew 8 times more, which is very, very impressive if you ask me. And it clearly shows that Poland has some competitive advantages for this particular chapter. Now, in terms of the biggest partners, we see again that Germany is the biggest one, followed by France, and we have on the 3rd place the Netherlands. While in terms of year-on-year changes, overall the exports were up more than 18% compared with what happened in 2019. And we have only 3 negative changes, again, at least for these top 10 trading partners. The first negative change is in relation with France, but here the exports stayed more or less the same, if you ask me, considering also the inflation. And the other 2 were Belgium and Sweden, whose imports from Poland fell with 8 and 4.5% respectively. But on the other hand, we have big year-on-year increases with Germany, the Netherlands, or the United Kingdom, whose imports grew quite a lot and who basically drive most of Poland's exports. Now, in terms of cumulative value, these top 10 trading partners make up for roughly 76%, which is again high in terms of export market concentration, but not too worrying if you ask me. Anyways, with this being said, I will move on to my 3rd product recommendation, guys, which is candles, tapers, and the like. So HS code 3406, and we see here that the exports in 2020 totaled almost $616 million, which is absolutely astonishing if you ask me. And for somebody living in Europe, in fact, I can say that more or less 1 in 2 candles or tapers in the modern trade are originating from Poland. And yes, this is a big industry in Poland. Anyways, I think that the industry, from my point of view, is quite mature. And from now on, I think that with the advent of electronic candles, I don't know, the new requirements coming from the European Union in terms of security, and of course, let's not forget the changes in the consumer behavior. The overall market, I think that will start to decline. But anyways, again, this is a personal opinion, and I think I should get back to the figures here in the table. And we see that year on year, the exports from Poland were up 1%. Again, we see the Germans, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom being the top 3 export destinations. In terms of cumulative value, the total exports for these top 10 partners accounted for almost 80%. So again, a high export market concentration here, while in terms of year-on-year changes, we have some negative values in relation with the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Slovakia, we see Sweden, France, and Italy. Again, just limiting myself to these top 10 partners. But there were some positive changes in relation with Germany, Belgium, we see here the Czech Republic, or Romania. Now, in terms of main drivers, both for the United Kingdom and Sweden, we have candles and the like. So HS code 340600 to be more precise. And I think that with this being said, I think I can move on to my fourth product, which is Glassware, so HS code 7013. And although we see that the market is quite mature in terms of the total exports, as by the way, Poland is a major manufacturer of glassware, compared with 2019, the exports shrunk with almost 5%, which is understandable from my point of view, as I'm guessing that the exports were mainly driven by hotels and restaurants, who in 2020 stayed almost all year closed to the public. And of course, the owners of these establishments, if you want, didn't had the same breakage incidents, or I don't know, they didn't saw the need to change the glassware or something similar. Anyways, except Germany, whose imports were up 2.3%, we see here, compared with what happened in 2019. With the rest of the trading partners, there were strong decreases, at least if I'm only considering again the top 10 partners. In terms of export market concentration, cumulatively, these top 10 partners make up for roughly 71%, which is relatively concentrated, so to speak, as for the main drivers, both for the United States and Italy, as we can see here, we have HS code 701399. And again, I don't think I have anything else to add here, so I will move on to my fifth and finally last recommendation, which is Mattresses supports articles of bedding and similar furnishings. And we see that the total exports for 2020 totaled to more than $1.2 billion, which is almost a 4% decrease with what happened in 2019. As for the top export destinations, we have Germany on the first place, followed by the Netherlands, and on the third place we have France. Covering the year-on-year changes, we have some positive changes with the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, Hungary also, although it's quite insignificant, and Switzerland. And in terms of negative changes, we have here some changes ranging from minus 0.4% to minus 38%. And in terms of the main drivers, I've added here, as you can see here, two examples, and we see that the main driver towards Germany is HS code 940490, while the driver for Belgium is HS code 940421, so mattresses of cellular, rubber or plastics. So there you are, guys. These were my 5 product recommendations for you. If I don't know, you were thinking at diversifying your sourcing countries, if you want to import one of the products covered here, as I really think that Poland has some really competitive advantages. And with this being said, guys, my time is up. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons. And as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.